In this video, we'll discuss about microbial pollution. The contamination of the environment by harmful microbes is called microbial pollution. Microbial pollution can happen with land, it can happen with water or the air. In this video, we'll talk about microbial pollution of land and water. Now, the most common case where land is polluted by microbes is when we dump waste on land. Especially biodegradable waste or organic waste leads to a lot of spread of harmful microbes. Let me explain. What happens when you dump waste on land? Well, the organic waste is eaten by microbes. These microbes then start multiplying. Some of them are good, but some of them are bad. And when bad microbes multiply and contaminate the land, it's called microbial pollution of the land. Now, these microbes can reach even the water table and start contaminating the water, right? And we don't want this to happen. So what is the solution to prevent microbial pollution? Well, you may say, why don't we just take all the waste and burn it? Well, when you burn waste, either organic or non-biodegradable waste, you will get smoke. And that smoke will pollute the air, right? And so this really isn't a solution, right? So we can't dump waste, we can't burn waste. What exactly should we do with the waste that we produce? Well, let me show you. So when waste is generated, the first step is to compress this waste so that it occupies less space. Now we dump this waste not on the land, but in a special place called a landfill. A landfill is a sophisticated dump yard which prevents land pollution. So this is basically a trench which is dug in the soil and is lined by a plastic layer. So we have a big trench in the land and that is lined with plastic, and then waste is dumped into this section. Now all of this waste is open to the air, right? And microbes could get into the air, or maybe an animal could come in and try to eat something from this landfill and then maybe fall ill. We don't want any of that, right? So what we do is we cover this entire section with a plastic covering, and that ensures that all our waste is now surrounded by plastic from every side. And thus it cannot contaminate the land, the water, or the air, right? Okay. So once all the waste is covered in plastic, are we good? Turns out that that's not the case. Even though all the waste is covered in plastic, we have problems. When the biodegradable waste in this landfill starts getting decomposed by our decomposer microorganisms, what happens is that a gas called methane is produced. Now, this gas methane is highly inflammable, and if it's trapped inside the landfill, it can even burst and cause a huge fire, polluting the atmosphere and causing danger to those living near the landfill, right? So we need to get this methane gas out somehow. What we do is we set pipes up in such a way that they can collect all the methane gas, and then that methane gas can be used. Methane is highly inflammable, so you can burn methane and produce energy. So methane can be used for domestic as well as industrial energy production. Amazing, isn't it? We're getting energy from garbage. Cool. Okay, now apart from this methane gas problem, we have another problem. There would be a lot of wet waste here. That wet waste would have water, right? And that water would slowly seep down, and it would then stay at the base of the landfill. And that's really not good. So to remove this water, what we're going to do is we set up a pumping system so that all this water, which is dirty water like sewage water, all the sewage water can be pumped out of the landfill and it can be used later, right? Okay, so this is the structure of a landfill. Let me quickly go through the functioning of each of the parts. The plastic lining prevents the spread of contamination. The plastic covering on top prevents the contamination of the air, right? Methane that is collected can be used as a fuel, and the sewage that's pumped out, that can be used too. Would you like to pause for a moment and try to predict what sewage can be used for? Well, turns out that this sewage can be used to produce biogas and can even be used as a fertilizer, a biological fertilizer or manure in agriculture. Okay, so this is how we deal with garbage that usually causes microbial pollution to the land, right? What about water? What happens when we flush our toilet? This water can have a lot of microbes. But where does that water go? Does it go and pollute our water bodies? Sadly, in certain cases, we humans have made a mess. Sometimes we end up dumping water into rivers, and those rivers flow into the sea and contaminate the sea as well. This is a very bad way of dealing with water which is polluted. What one must do instead is to have a sewage purification plant. These sewage purification plants, like the one shown in the figure, are very efficient and can turn sewage into drinking water. Let me list out a few of the points that are important about these sewage purification plants. Sewage purification plants have filtration methods like our normal water filters, but they also have some good microbes that kill the pathogens or the bad microbes. So we can use microbes to our favor as well. Some of the good microbes decompose organic waste. That can be pretty useful too. There are some bacteria that can even break chemicals down. And in the end, even all the waste that is left over after purification, all the junk which is called sludge, that sludge can also be used as a manure. So these sewage purification plants also turn garbage into something that is useful like manure. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching.